Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV, and you are joined by me, James, today, and we are going to talk about the weekend football. And I have been doing a bit of research, having a look at some of the games, and I've got a couple of nice little three folds, four folds, etc. If you fancy a punt, so let's get into it. We have Premier League, and I've gone for Liverpool 4-9, Palace 13-8, Manchester United 4-9, Villa 11-8. I'll start off with Villa and work my way back to Liverpool. Obviously, Villa have got a new manager, Steven Gerrard. I think it's going to be new manager bounce for Villa in this game. I think they're going to be right up for it. I think Gerrard's going to get them right up for it. I think 11-8 is a very, very good bet for a team who's just got a new manager. So, yeah, I think it's good value. I think it's good value for Villa. Moving on to Manchester United, and I think Manchester United have to win this game. And if they don't win this game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will get the sack. They are playing Watford, and they are playing Watford at Watford. So I think Man United win this game, win comfortably, and I think 4-9 is a good bet for a team if you're going to put them in a fourfold. So, yeah, that is it for Man United. Crystal Palace is the outsider of the fourfold that I like in this. And Palace went up there and won last year, and Palace are a pretty decent team this year with Conor Gallagher and obviously Patrick Vieira in charge. So, yeah, I like Palace at 13-8. I fancy him to go there and get something. And for me, I think this is one of the bets of the weekend. I think if Palace can go up there and can't attack Burnley, I fancy them to get a positive result. And finally, Liverpool at home against Arsenal. Liverpool scored 3 goals twice in the last 2 times they played Arsenal. So, for me, I think Liverpool 4-9 at home. Maybe it's a bit too short, but I think they will win the game. They've got to bounce back from losing against West Ham last time out. So, yeah, for the fourfold there, that is a 12-1 bet, and I think that's pretty good value. Really is. If you're the first 3 are Palace, Manchester United, and Villa at 3 o'clock. If they're all coming in, then you're really waiting for Liverpool in the evening kickoff at 5:30. So, yeah, 12-1 for that if you fancy a punt on the Premier League. Moving on to the Championship, and I've gone for Middlesbrough even money against Millwall. For me, I think this is a good bet. I think Middlesbrough have got a new manager, I believe, and yeah, I think even money for them at home against Millwall. Millwall don't really travel well, and when they do, they usually sort of put half-hearted performances in. So even money for Borough at home. Yeah, I fancy that all day long. Moving on to League One, and I will start off with Ipswich, Sunderland, and work my way back to Crewe. Sunderland are in a poor vein of form at the minute. They lost against Mansfield in the FA Cup. They haven't been really performing anywhere near where they should be, and Lee Johnson's massively in trouble up there. I fancy goals in this game, but I don't know which way to go. Sunderland, if they go a goal behind, then the crowd could turn on him massively. And Ipswich are playing pretty decent at the minute, I must admit, from what I've been watching. So I've gone for a safer option of both teams to score. And basically, yeah, looking at it like that, at 4-6, I think it's the more safer bet. Moving on to Portsmouth, and Portsmouth are unbeaten in 4. They got absolutely obliterated by, I think it was Ipswich at home, 4-0, I think it was. And since then, they haven't lost a game. They're playing pretty well. They went to Wycombe last weekend and got a really good win. But I fancy them in this game at 3-4 against Wimbledon. I think Wimbledon, yet again, not really good travellers. So for me, Portsmouth at 3-4 is a good bet, and get on that. And finally, Crewe against Gillingham. Now, this is not my punt. This is something that I've listened to late last night. I listened to someone on a podcast, and they said about Crewe against Gillingham. Gillingham have got not a lot of players, and a lot of their players are injured and suspended. Steve Evans is in a bit of grief in Gillingham. He wants to leave. Stevenage come in for him, I think it was, and he wants to go to Stevenage. And there's a lot of unrest up in Kent, in Gillingham. And Crew, I know they're not performing very well, but this is the moment where they could seize the moment and get a win against Gillingham, which they do need. Crew, because they haven't been in the best of forms either. So 11-8 for a team against a team with not really their full strength team. They've got a lot of injuries, lots of suspensions, a lot of unrest. I think it's a good bet myself personally. Before I move on, congratulations on your 200 subs, mate. Karma is beautiful. Thank you, Darren. Hope you're well, sir. Moving on to League Two, and this is a tricky one for me. The Barrow one I didn't really want to put down, but I put it down because basically I look at the distance. Now in League Two, sometimes these teams can't afford to stay overnight, and Barrow are up against Crawley from Sussex, and basically they've got to travel all the way up to Cumbria, even past Cumbria, I think it is, to Barrow. So for me, I think Barrows are not a bad shout here at 21-20. I really do. I think the distance is key. A lot of these, as I say, a lot of these teams don't travel a day before; they travel on the day. You've got to travel 300, 400 miles up north, and you've got to go and play a game of football. That takes wear and tear out of anyone. It really does. And as I say, if you have to travel on a day, you ain't going to get the best performance. So I like Barrow in this one. It's not my gold bet of the weekend, but it's a good shout that something could happen there. Harringay against Salford, both teams to score at 8-11. I like this. I think both of them have got good attacking threats. I like Salford. I watched Salford against my local team the other week, and they were. If Dagenham could have scored the goals, then basically Salford would have been in trouble. So they're susceptible to conceding goals, but they are capable of scoring goals. So I like both teams to score in that one. And finally, moving on to the National League, and this is my 6-1 shout that I've gone for here. Bromley 1-2, Bournemouth 4-7, Stockport 5-4, and Wrexham are 2-5. Wrexham against Wealdstone. Wrexham are big dogs in this league, and they've got some really, really good players. I fancy them at home against Wealdstone, who, yet again, another team don't travel well. And yet again, we'll probably have to travel on the day. So I fancy Wrexham there. Stockport County against Woking. Now this is a tricky one. This is the outsider of the out of the four, and for me, I look at this and I think the result in midweek in the FA Cup might springboard them up the league. They haven't really performing great in the National League, but they've just got a new manager. They've just signed some players from outside the league, and they look like they could be on a springboard to something new. So 5-4 against Woking. Woking are no mugs at home, but I do fancy Stockport in this one. I really do. If they can get a goal early, I can see Stockport rolling them out, maybe 2-3-1, something like that. Next up is Boreham Wood against who are Boreham Wood playing? They are playing Kings Lynn. That's the one. Boreham Wood, very, very good side. I've watched them live. I've been thoroughly impressed with Boreham Wood this season. They look the part. They've got a good manager up there, and a 4-7 against Kings Lynn, who I just don't rate. I think Kings Lynn are massively out of their depth in this league, and they've just got rid of a couple of their players, different clubs. They've weakened their team, and their team was pretty weak before they weakened their team even more. So at 4-7, Boreham Wood, I fancy Boreham Wood all day long. If you want a different bet, maybe Boreham Wood to win and over 2.5 goals, because I can see Boreham Wood scoring a couple of goals here, right, all day long. And finally, Bromley against Maidenhead. Now, I watched Maidenhead the other week, and for me, I think they was one of the worst teams I've seen. They can't defend, and Bromley at home are a decent side. So Bromley at 1-2, I think it's always good value. I think they're a decent outfit, especially at home. And for what it is, to stick him in this fourfold, which combines up to 6-1, which I think is good value. When I look at that, you're really having 6-1 on Stockport for me. Because I fancy Bromley to win. I fancy Bromley to win all day. Wrexham at home, I fancy them to win. So really, you're literally having a 6-1 bet on Stockport to beat Woking, which to me I think is good value. So yeah, that is it from me. Let's have a look in the comments. What have we got here? We have got Richard. Afternoon, mate. Hope you're well, Richard. So yeah, that is it from me on the weekend football betting preview. My gold bet for the weekend, I am going to say, I fancy Palace. I really do. I fancy Palace against Burnley. I really do. I just think Palace are a different side. We drew 2-2 with them at the LS. They drew 2-2 at the Emirates. They beat Wolves last week. They've got a good manager who I thought what might have been a flop, but he's been very, very successful. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Palace. But I do like the Barrow one. I think the distance is massive. Like especially in the lower leagues. If you follow the lower league football like I do, the distance of where these players have to travel, and they have to travel usually on the day because the clubs can't afford to have overnight stay for their players, coaches, and staff and everything. Do you know what I mean? So really, I think Barrow against Crawley, I think is a bit of a decent shout. I think if Barrow can nick, I think Barrow will probably might even nick that 1-0. Do you know what I mean? But I do like Barrow, especially when they go up north. A lot of them teams just don't perform, especially in the lower leagues. So yeah, that is it from me. Anyway, if you're new around here and this is the first time you're watching my content, please do subscribe. It goes a long way. Thank you for everyone who subscribed recently. Obviously, everyone getting over the 200 mark, roll on the 300. And I'm really, truly grateful for all the support that I have gotten recently. I'll be back over the weekend to do an afterthought after the West Ham game against Wolves. Hopefully, it's a positive result. And yeah, we will see what happens there. Thanks for watching. Take care and bye for now.